Hello, in this video we will learn how to use Desmos Geometry. So the first step is to type Desmos Geometry and do a search and you will find it. You click it there. Now this is the Desmos Geometry platform. So what we're going to do now is to write or to activate the X and Y axis here with a grid. So we click on this tool right here, okay? And we click on grid and axis. So you see now we can visualize the axis. If you want, you can click on arrows so you can clearly see the Y and X axis here. Okay, so now we can adjust this grid so we can see the coordinates by one, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and so forth. -1, -2, -3. So we can click here and get rid of the minor grid lines if we want. So we see a cleaner view of just integers in both the X and the Y axis. Okay, so what we need to learn is how to use the basic tools of Desmos Geometry. Let's start with the coordinates or the points. We can click here, which is a coordinate or a point, and we can add points, for example, here, or for example, here. Let's just add those 2 points. I will click the arrow now, so we won't be accidentally adding more points. Okay, so now if we want to see the coordinates of these 2 points, we click on this icon here, and that's where we have the 2 points. We just drag them here and click and drag the second one here. So you see this is point 1 and point 2, and those are the coordinates of them, right? This will be point 1. You see when I click here, it highlights this, and point 2, same thing. When I click here, you highlight this. Now we can label it. We can label this point with a different letter. Let's label, for example, letter A, capital A, and let's click this one and label, for example, capital B. Okay. So you see how when I label the A and B, it shows up here. Okay. So we learn how to click here with points and, create coordinates. You can do this directly, like here, right? Instead of clicking somewhere, you can write, for example, let's close this. You can write between parentheses a coordinate, -2, 2, for example. And that creates a point here. And you can label this again, capital A. And same thing here, we can click and select, for example, 0, 0, and label it capital O for the origin. Okay, so yeah, you can create these coordinates in 2 different ways. You select which one you prefer. Now, we are going to use this tool here, which is a segment or line tool. To join this guy, I click here, and this guy, I click there. So you see, I created a segment AO, all right, by using this tool here. So other things that we can do in Desmos Geometry are finding the distance between 2 points. For example, if I want to find the distance of this segment AO, the length of the distance between them, so I type here distance, I put parentheses, and I click the first coordinate A and the second O, and it gives me the distance. You see, it's approximately 2.82, 84, so forth. So right there, Desmos Geometry finds you the distance without having to use formulas. Something else that is important to know about Desmos Geometry is that you can draw parallel and perpendicular lines to another line or to another segment. So if we click here, you see here it says parallel, perpendicular. Let's click parallel, for example. So you see how this changes here. So I'm gonna click here. You see it's highlighted. I click there, and I created a line that is parallel to this segment, and I can put that line anywhere I want. For example, here. Okay, so I just created a line that is parallel to my segment and that passes through this point here, 0,3. All right. So if I want to create a perpendicular line to this segment that passes through that point A, all I do is I click here, I select perpendicular. Again, I click this, and the perpendicular line appears, and I can put that anywhere I want in this segment, right? So I'm gonna put it here. So you see this line here is gonna be perpendicular to the segment and also perpendicular to this parallel line that I created previously. Okay, so that's something else that you can do with Desmos Geometry. Now, another useful tool is the angle tool. So if you want to calculate the angle between two segments or two lines, you can use this tool here. For example, we know that this line is perpendicular to this segment, right? But let's calculate this angle in between them. It should be 90 degrees because it's perpendicular. So we're gonna click here, the angle, and let's say I'm gonna find the angle between this, and this coordinate. You see right there, it found the angle is 90 degrees. We already knew that, but I'm just showing how to use the tool. Okay, so you can find any angle using this tool and clicking 3 points. So keep in mind that all these things that appear here are elements that we have created using these tools. For example, this is the angle that we just created, right? So if I drag this angle here, it shows it, right? For example, this intersection here, right? This if I click this and I drag it here, that's intersection, right? If I select that, it will be this. You see how it's selected when I sorry, it's not this one. Show. Let's click show, and it shows P1. Let's label this to see it more clearly. Oh, it's right here. It's this one here. So let's label it with, I don't know, letter W, for example, or capital W. So right there. It's better to label it because when you don't label, you can get confused. So this coordinate here, W, would be this one here. And it gives you the coordinate, right? Negative 0.5, 3.5. Okay. This one here will be this point here. You see, when I click this, it highlights this. I'm going to drag that. That's 0.3, right? 0 for the X and 3 for the Y. Okay. So yeah, the elements that you create here will show up here. And if you want to see the coordinates or label them or change some of the properties, you can just drag them here and they will it will show its properties. Okay, now that we have seen those properties, let's continue with the polygon and the circle elements here. Let's delete this. I select this and I hit, let me click select here. I have to click select. I select that and I hit delete. And it deletes everything that I selected. I delete, select, delete, select, delete. Okay, I deleted everything I created. All right, now when we click here, the circle, right, it gives you three options, right? We're going to focus on the circle first. So we can create a circle. Let's say that we want to create a circle with a center at the origin at a 0, 0. So I'm going to click there, and then I'm going to move my mouse, and let's say I want to create a circle of radius 2. So it's going to be around there. I click there. So you see right there, I created a circle with the center 0, 0 and the radius of 2. And it shows up here. So if I drag this, it shows there. And these are the 2 points, right? The 2 reference points. One point is your center, the 0, 0. You can label that capital O, right? And the other point is this one here. In this case, it shows this coordinate, negative 1.14, 1.65. But you can move it around, like right there, for example, right? So it will be 0, 2. And we can label it point, point A. So now we label this is the center O and this point A. Okay. So that's how we can create a circle with a particular or a specific center and a given radius. Okay, now we'll delete this. We click select and delete, click delete, click delete. Now we're going to work or show the polygon tool. This is the polygon tool. For example, if you want to create a triangle, you click here, you click there. Let's put a 3 to make it isosceles. So after I click the third point, if I don't want to create something else, I just double click here and then I click escape, okay, on my keyboard. And that's how I stop putting more points in my polygon. All right. So you can create any polygon you want, and the coordinates will be here again. You can drag them, and again it labels them P1, P2, P3, which means 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. But again, you should label with letters, capital letters, to visualize them properly. So I'm gonna put then letter A, B, and C here. You see, this is a triangle A, B, C. All right. So again, that's how the polygon tool works, and you can create any polygon you want. Okay, so you can click as many points or create as many points, and the software will join them and will create a polygon. Another way to create a polygon, let's delete these coordinates here, is to write a function polygon. Okay, I put parentheses and we're going to put coordinates, for example, 2, 2, the comma, I don't know, 5, 6, 3, parentheses, 3, 4. Probably I should use lowercase. polygon there. Yeah, sorry. It has to be lowercase, cannot be capitalized. So you write polygon, and between two parentheses, you write 3 coordinates using parentheses. You create a polygon. In this case, because it's 3 points, it will create a triangle. Okay? And you can magnify it, zoom in and zoom out. And again, if you want to label these points, it's better to create it the other way that I show, like 1 coordinate per each of these cells in the table, right? Okay, now that we have seen how to use Desmos Geometry, at least the basic functions or the basic tools, let's solve some problems using it to show its usefulness. Okay, there is this problem here that says the fourth vertex D of a parallelogram ABCD, okay, is what we need to find, right? So basically they give us 3 vertices and we have to find the fourth one. So we're going to type these 3 vertices here, right? The -2, 3, -2, 3. Again, we can label that A, capital A. Sorry, label here capital A. Then the other was 6, 7, and that's capital B. 6, 7, and that will be labeled capital B. And the last one is A, 3, and capital C would be that one. A, 3, and we label that capital C. Okay, so right there you have them. So we have to get a parallelogram. We have to get a 4 vertex of a parallelogram. Okay, the question is which of these 4 choices is the answer. Okay, so we can type those numbers and we can see which one makes a parallelogram. Okay, that would be one way to do it. Or we can just try to figure out a different way. So if I type 0, 1, 0, -1, I'll type them here, right? Let's type, for example, 0, 1, the first choice. 0, 1 will be here. If we join this with lines, or with segments, I should say, you realize that doesn't look like a parallelogram. So definitely that's not, the 0, 1 is not the answer. The next one is 0, -1. So we're gonna put 0, 0, -1. So that seems to be a parallelogram. Just to see if it's actually a parallelogram, the opposite sides have to be parallel. So I'm gonna click here and select the parallel function, right? So I select this and I want a line that is parallel. So that line, yes. So you see this line here, or this segment here, is parallel to this one. Perfect. So we know that, and I hit escape to get rid of that. We know that these 2 are parallel. So now let's do the same with this one, right? I select this one. Perfect. You see that this one and this one are parallel. So that would be the answer. 0, -1 would be the 4th coordinate for this problem. Now we have another problem here that says 3 vertices of a trapezoid are given, right? 3, -6, 3, -2, and 6, -8. And they want us to find the 4th vertex. such that the trapezoid is an isosceles trapezoid. Okay, so we're going to start typing these coordinates 3, -6, right? Let me just 3, -6. That's the first coordinate. Then the second is 3, -2. 3, -2. And the last one is 6, -8. So I'm going to type here 6 and -8. All right. So I can erase this. I can move this. So right there, this is the figure that we get. Now, the question is, which is the fourth vertex? So the figure is an isosceles trapezoid. Here they don't give us choices, okay? So we have to figure out the fourth vertex without choices, right? Without guessing here. All right. So okay. So basically here we have this ABC structure, right? A structure, but I don't know if this doesn't seem to make an isosceles trapezoid, right? Because if this is the base, the other base will be here, but this segment will be too short. So this doesn't seem to be right, okay? Joining or expecting BC to be the base, one of the bases, doesn't seem to be correct. So I'm going to click here and delete that, okay? Because again, BC doesn't seem to be a base of the isosceles trapezoid. Now, AB could be a base, right? If you see this here, maybe the base is here and your base is right here, okay? And that kind of makes sense because you see the distance between A and C is 2 here, right? So here we can make another distance. Let's click this point here. We can make another distance of 2 and then go down here and click there. Okay, that will make an isosceles trapezoid because this distance will be the same as this distance. These are the legs. And this will be the other base. Okay, you see this is the hypotenuse of a triangle that is 3 by 2. And this is the hypotenuse of a 3 by 2 triangle. So yeah, that will be an isosceles trapezoid. So the answer, one of the answers could be 6, 6,0. Okay, so one of the answers is 6,0. We can analyze this to see if there is a second answer. We can delete this. Actually, I don't see another possibility here. There seems to be only one possibility. The AB is one base and CD would be the second base. Again, we try another one and it didn't work. So that would be the only answer for this particular problem. Okay, thank you very much for your attention.